Tonight on Barbie Live, James Gunn does more debunking, including saying no to the Justice League. Oh boy. Michael Keaton's Batman does kill, but this time he killed a parent, which is why he quit. Oppenheimer Box Office, that's right. Craziness. We're going to talk more about the numbers and what it all means. And sadly, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, well, fell farther than Tom Cruise after. Okay. Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi. Is it happening? It's getting interesting. All that and so much more tonight on Film Junkee Live. I thought about wearing my pink shirt, but I didn't. Wearing my pink undies, though.
Lights out! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hey yo, what's happening, everybody? It's Monday. Yay! Where's the music? There's the music. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Film Junkee Live. It is July 24th. Hopefully you guys had a good Monday. Is there such a thing as a good Monday? Maybe. Who knows? But hey guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you for clicking in right now. You'd never like nuts. I just saw that right now. Sorry, MSGT. I saw you. That's pretty funny. Like, you never like nuts? Well, we're getting nuts, so it's going to be happening. So anyways, guys, welcome to Film Junkee Live. Like I said, we're going to be talking about some movie craziness, of course, that happened over the weekend and whatnot. So anyways, let's see how everybody's doing out there. Let's get to the chat. Sorry, I was having a little bit of difficulties when it came to that. All right, can't blame James Gunn. Snyder cultists would ridicule him. The closest of Justice League we had was Flash and Aquaman in the Peacemaker Season 1 finale. Well, there you go. We got Ryan right there speaking those words. Patrick, Hi, Dave. I watched Game of Thrones, Smallville, and Son of Anarchy spin-off. Show goes hard. Cool. Nice. Lawrence Fury, Blue Beetle Battalion. What up? I trust James Gunn with my life. Wow, with your life? That's pretty intense right there. He is cooking. He definitely is cooking. I wouldn't trust him with my life, though. We got main man Dano. Snyder Cult is this and that. Just shut up, G. Stop trying to spread negativity on here. That's what I'm talking about. No negativity. It's all fun and games, right? We got Erica here. Appreciate Gunn saying this. Like I said last night, though, it's Saffron who disturbs me in the new leadership. Yep. We got Mama Film Junkie. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. Always. Then we got Mr. Nobody. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope everyone had a great weekend with the writer's strike going on. Meow. Can people in Hollywood talk about future projects? They can't. They can't talk about anything. Like I kind of said, well, I think I said it to the patrons. I posted it on the Patreon. I was actually supposed to have an actress for the vodka stream on Friday, but had to cancel because of the strike. So I was like, damn it. Oh, well, maybe later. But we got Droga right here. What's going on, Mr. Baconator? We got Fear Jason. Good to see you. Always my friend. Howdy, MSGT. Good to see you. We got, of course, Miss Nighthawk. It is always good to see you. Always good to see you, my dear. And we got Mr. Adnan, who is saying, wow. Okay, cool. All right, we got Stephanie T. Good to see you. Who else we got? Oh, okay, so you're saying the too long a intro. A intro, okay. Well, sorry to disappoint you. No, you know. All right, seems like Adnan is he's gonna be the frisky one. He's gonna be the sassy one of the chat right now. We got Burley George. He said no, but a few weeks or months later, he will say that he already write a script for Justice League a few months before. All right, somebody screenshot that now because I'm sure that's exactly what's gonna happen. Right? All right. Chino says let him cook. We got Walter right here. Walter Johnson, good to see you. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, we definitely had a fun week. Watch The Flash again. Watch The Flash again, and it was fun. All right, you're kidding. Okay, good. I was wondering. Yeah. We're talking about Barbie right now already. Yeah. Yeah, I saw Barbie by myself. What's going on? Diz, Tobey back for a fourth? Use the scrap script. Yeah, we're going to talk about it because Thomas Hayden Church, right? Obviously, we play the Sandman. He's been talking a little bit. So it's going to, yeah. Something came about today, which was like, what? When it came to Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire. So naturally, all of us went, you know. Yes, I was simulating what you thought I was simulating. Yes. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be the last topic of the stream. We're going to talk about James Gunn debunking things he's still debunking, you know, which is, you know, and I have some input when it comes to this new DCU slate. So, and then we've already kind of talked about it. We talked about it on the Patreon stream yesterday, but talk about it again because it was a topic of discussion when it came to Michael Keaton's Batman. Why within the story did he quit being Batman? And it was revealed finally, even with like a deleted scene, you kind of go, why? Okay. And then, of course, we're going to talk more about Barbenheimer weekend. That's right. Sadly, you know, the movie I really enjoyed that came out last weekend, kind of getting the shit of it, man. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that. Should be good. Should be good. What are you guys talking about here? You guys good? All right. I like Barbie more than Oppenheimer. Jacob liked, well, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, it's two different kind of things, you know. You got entertainment. I mean, I always thought Jacob was, you know, he like, I would not be surprised, you know, when it comes to Barbie over Oppenheimer, you know. Yeah. Cinema over, hey, entertainment. That's the way I kind of look at it. When it came to Barbie and Oppenheimer was just like, I was so just within the story. I just could not. I was like, oh, Everything about that movie was just kind of like, so cinematic, so everything, and just the way that Christopher Nolan does his thing. When it came to Barbie, I was like, okay, maybe it's not for me, but I could see why people are just totally all about it. So, yeah. But I mean, you got to pick your poison. Do you want to walk out devastated, or you want to walk out like, hey, even just a little bit more happy, I guess you could say. So, I mean, was Barbie cinema? To me, it was a very long Saturday Night Live sketch. Okay, if you want to call that cinema, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. You're wrong, but it's fine. It's fine. You know, I'm just saying. You know, I get why people are enjoying it and stuff like that, and and I think that was what Greta was going for. Was obviously not to be, take it seriously at all. And I get that. And like I even said with my first reaction, I'm like, okay, yeah, it does this, it does that. The jokes didn't land with me, but I appreciated that it was like, it started getting preachy, and then it went so over the top that it was just making fun of being like being preachy when it comes to social and everything like that, which of course pissed off a lot of those YouTubers that say everything's woke. Oh, those guys were having a field. Oh, they were like, this is the worst movie ever. Oh man. I'm like, really? You're going to let a Barbie movie that stars one of the most beautiful actresses in Hollywood and one of the most beautiful actors in Hollywood, I guess you could say, you're gonna take it that seriously? Where it's like, it was so I'm not on that level where those guys were like freaking out about how I saw their comments and saw some of their clips for their videos, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are taking this way too seriously, because you shouldn't take it seriously, and that's what I appreciated about Barbie, was that it wasn't taking itself too seriously, even though like at points it does take itself seriously. Then it goes all the way over the top, and then it goes, okay, yeah, we're just now making fun of the things that are taken way too seriously. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. So anyways, all right, let's get to the tweets, or should I say, should I get to the X's? That's right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, we all know that Elon Musk is changing Twitter to X. And I guess the tweets are now going to be called the X's, which sounds like it's going to be a totally different stream than let's get to the X's. That does not sound right. I don't know if that would be much appreciated, but it is kind of funny. Oh, let me turn that off. Oh, not that. Where's it at? Oh, man, I got to get my, whatchamacallit, back up and running. If I can. All right, here we go. Twitter X. Nah. Yeah. It's all very interesting. But yeah, let's get to the I'm not going to say it. But obviously, since it's Monday, I just picked the tweets because it's all, there's a lot of tweeting that happened in between. We're not going to go over all that. But yeah, we're just going to go right to it. But yes, guys, there it is right there. I have the X. The birdie is gone. The birdie is gone. No longer. I rebooted my computer today, so when I open up desktop, yeah, that's right. There's no longer a tweet. There are no longer the bird, So now it's just X, but it still says tweet. Still, still looks the same. That's all that matters to me. As long as it runs the same, I don't care what logo is right here. I really don't care. I mean, I don't know if Elon Musk is trying to be Professor Xavier or something. Maybe he's going to start floating around in a hovering wheelchair, and he's going to shave his head bald. Maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Who knows? But anyways, now to the tweets. Dwayne Johnson. So, DJ over here, there was a report that came out. I didn't talk about it, but there was a report that came out not too long ago that for the Santa Claus movie that he's in for Netflix, which I guess is coming out at the end of this year, with Chris Evans. I forgot what the title of it actually is. I'm curious. I'll watch it. I'll check it out. But there was a report that came out that he received $50 million for the role. So naturally, with everything that's happening when it comes to Hollywood, with these strikes and the fact that these actors aren't getting paid what they should be getting paid and all this stuff, you got all these top tier actors that are making just a kajillion freaking dollars. So when that report came out, which was misleading, by the way, because it wasn't like Netflix said, hey, here's $50 million. Enjoy it, Dwayne Johnson. Enjoy it. It wasn't that. It was just he got paid a salary, but then there was like, I don't know if it was like residuals or basically incentives that were going to be tacked on to his salary. So when the trades got around to getting this information, they basically were like, oh yeah, he could potentially get $50 million for this role. So then naturally, Dwayne Johnson was like, probably him and his crew with everything that's happening. They're like, hey, we got to do something because it's not right. And here it is right here. Dwayne Johnson makes makes a historic donation to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation Relief Fund. It's the largest single donation that we've ever received from one individual at one time. And what is amazing is that one check is going to help thousands of actors keep food on their table and keep their kids safe and keep their cars running. So good on Dwayne Johnson. I know I'm not trying to throw shade, but yeah, it's a little bit. You got that report that happened. I'm just saying that the report did not help. But Dwayne Johnson, I'm glad that he actually took this upon himself to be like, hey, there's a fund. I'm gonna donate all this right here, and this is what Variety was actually posting right here. But yeah, Dwayne Johnson contributes a historic. Yeah, so let's see. They don't actually say what he gave, but on July 13th, of course, the leadership declared union to go on strike. Talking about that, we rely on donations and grants to provide services. We have been very fortunate that we raised enough money to be able to cover all of our programs. So at least that's happening. But when we hit a crisis like this and we're going to spend millions and millions of dollars in financial assistance, this is when we need our high-profile talent who can afford it, who are in a situation to help others. Shortly after sending the letter, Dwayne Johnson's team reached out to say he wanted to help, so he and Vance hopped on a phone call. It was a love fest. It's like, man, you're stepping up in a way that is allowing others to know the dire necessity of it. So this is what Vance said right here when he had a phone call with Dwayne Johnson. This is him saying, in such a time as this, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Whatever you need me to do. So big, huge message right there. So that's good. We're not going to read everything right there, of course, but that's really good right there. Good on Dwayne Johnson. Good on Dwayne Johnson for doing that. I know there was like a video of something that he even posted with something else too, but yeah, you gotta give respect to Dwayne Johnson because, and I'm sure other high profile actors are probably gonna do the same thing, and they should. With all this stuff that's been happening, I kept on saying like, yeah, salaries for these movies, for these top tier actors need to get cut in half as well as the budgets because it's just getting ridiculous. It's absolutely getting ridiculous. Some of these salaries are just dumb. And like when that report came out that Dwayne Johnson was going to get $50 million, which again, misleading, but at the same time, he's still getting paid so much for a lot of these movies. It's like, yeah, dude, Dwayne, give back to the community. And he did. He took it upon himself. So mad respect for Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson for doing that. Mad respect. Because a lot of people, of course, were giving him shit. That's the thing is like when that report came out, oh my God, the backlash was crazy. So I'm glad that he was like, well, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. Let me like correct this. Let me right the ship right here. At least my ship that I should give back and I should give into the fund that are helping these other actors still put food on the table while all this crap is happening. So good on Dwayne. Good on Dwayne. You got to respect the hell out of that. So good God. At this point, guys, I don't even know if we're going to have movies to watch in the fall or the winter because, Yeah, there's some reports out there that these companies are now considering pushing all their movies to next year after hopefully the strike is resolved. Right here, we got Disney is considering delaying Wish, Poor Things, and Next Goal Wins due to the strike caused by the studio not paying their actors and writers fairly. That's right. This is according to Bloomberg right there. As you can see the link. And it's funny too because guess who else was thinking that too? Yep, Variety reported this over the weekend that Warner Brothers Discovery is thinking about doing the same thing. So Dune 2 and also Aquaman 2 again, as well as The Color Purple, they're thinking about moving them to next year as well. Ouch. Aquaman 2, holy crap. It's probably going to happen. I mean, Aquaman 2, I'm going to watch it. I'm not hyped for it because I think it's going to be probably a, it's going to be a fish sandwich anyways. But where's that rim shot drop? I should have that on hand. Anyways, no, but Dune 2 was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And now we might not get it this year, which sucks. And then, of course, The Color Purple. Yeah, but they're considering pushing their stuff, too. So delays are probably going to happen. Might happen. Who knows how this affects everything. I know when I posted about Disney delaying their movies till next year, some people were going like, obviously part of the Snyder fandom were kind of wondering, well, what about Rebel Moon? That comes out December this year. Could that be possibly moved to next year? Possibly can. It could happen. We all know that there's going to be a theatrical release for the movie, and if Zach's the only one that can promote it because the DGA is not on strike, he's the director, even though he wrote it too, I think he's perfectly okay to promote the movie because it's all a weird thing. I don't know. Again, I'm a big dum-dum when it comes to the logistics of all this stuff because when it came to Oppenheimer, we have Christopher Nolan who directed it, but he also wrote it too. He got a writer credit as well because obviously they're adapting, existing stuff because it's a biopic, but he was one of the writers with it. So he got a writer's credit, but I think he could still do that. Same with like Greta when it comes to Barbie. She was a writer on it too, but she's the director, and so she's able to make like surprise appearances at movie theaters and stuff and still promote it because the DGA is, like I said, it's all just a crazy like I don't you got to like look it up. DGA, WGA, SAG-AFTRA, it's all just crazy. But I would not be surprised if this happens. I think it probably will happen. That's what I'm thinking. So don't be surprised. Movies get delayed. They're gonna get delayed again. So. Aquaman 2, my God. It's a sequel to $1 billion movie, and this movie is just, man, I tell you what. Okay. And then, did you guys see this? Oh, did you guys see this? Good old, I gotta find the drop. I mean, obviously I have to find the drop. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys saw this. I tweeted it. I don't see where the drop is, but good old Grace right here. So let's listen to what Grace had to say because she was not a fan of Oppenheimer, but this is what she had to say right here.
The truth of the matter is that Oppenheimer was a grade A jerk. Like, wow, an extremely unlikable person who surrounded himself with other unlikable people in his personal life. Now, you can't make Oppenheimer a great guy if he was a jerk. He was a jerk, though you can't change it. But then he shouldn't be the main character of your movie. You have to focus on someone else. And then Oppenheimer, this is like filmmaking 101. And then Oppenheimer is a character within the film. And, the truth of the matter is that Oppenheimer...
Shut up! My God. Filmmaking 101. Okay, so if you're going to take Filmmaking 101, who are you going to listen to? You going to listen to Grace? Well, or are you going to listen to Christopher freaking Nolan? What the hell? How many times have we seen movies that have the protagonist that is not a likable person, who's not a good person? There's countless out there. Some of our best movies. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What the hell? When I saw this clip, I went, oh my God. Filmmaking 101 is to not take the movie that that it's supposed to be about, and you're like, oh, you have to find somebody else to be the protagonist because they have to be a likable person. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. But I'm not surprised for someone who put this post out here. She did not like Oppenheimer, so she's like doubling fucking down on Oppenheimer. She posted this right here. I'm very glad people are enjoying Oppenheimer. Sure you are. But I feel not showing Hiroshima will cost it Oscar wins, not necessarily nominations. What do you think? She put this poll out here. Like, what? So, because they didn't show the devastation that was Hiroshima, the Japanese people getting obliterated and people like, yeah, it was very devastating. You've seen the pictures in history books. Because they didn't show that, it's not going to win Academy Awards? What? Seriously, what the hell is happening? What? I don't even know.
I will fuck you
No,
up!
that's not a good one right there. Yeah, I meant to hit this one right here.
Fuck me, right?
Yeah. Like what? I mean, I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan. We were going to announce you as a winner, but the fact of the matter is you didn't show the devastation of the Hiroshima bomb, so we decided not to. Yes, your movie, the storytelling is great, the cinematography is great, the direction is great, the performances are absolutely fantastic, but you didn't show the devastation of Hiroshima, so we said, sorry. I had to go on that rant right now because I was like, my God. And it's okay, guys, because like I told you, Grace unfollowed me. I think she got finally sick of my shit. Remember when I didn't know she was following me? And then, I found out that live. But oh my God, man. Sorry. I just was like, I could not believe. But speaking of Oppenheimer, look at that. Do you see that right there? So anybody who has seen Oppenheimer, you know very well that Miss Florence, pew, 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 in this scene right here, was not wearing a black dress. She was completely naked. And this is, remember, I mean, for even like my film Junkee shot that talks about the Oppenheimer nudity and sexual content is kind of blowing up because people are fascinated about this Christopher Nolan, like, finally doing, like, hey, he did sex scenes and nudity. Wow, he doesn't normally do that. But apparently in India, they were not all about it. So they CGI'd Florence Pugh, who is naked right here, with a black dress. Did you see this? It's crazy. Because obviously it goes against their religion and stuff like that. Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah. They're kind of prudes over there. Let's face it. They're kind of prudish over there. So, and it's funny too, because KC, you guys know who KC is, Najid, who shows up on the vodka stream. We all know KC. He had to watch this. He did not know that they did this. Not know. And then he's like, wait, she was naked? He's like, yeah, sorry, bud. We all saw nudity. You didn't. But they apparently CGI'd a dress on her. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then they zoomed in on all the other stuff too, as you can see right here. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But that's what happened. It's so crazy. So crazy. Now, Casey's not a prude, Russ. Again, turn your hearing aid on. Where he lives, they're prudes. Jesus Christ. At least you're not doing... But you still have the capitalization on. Is it sticky? Did you spill jelly on your caps lock button? All right. Anyway, so... It's actually kind of cute. You think it's kind of cute, Leslie? All right. I mean, but it is interesting that that's the case, that they had to do that. It's not the first time that something like that is happening. I mean, I remember even Disney Plus did it with Splash, where they made her hair, they CGI'd her hair longer to cover her butt. So I see female-led and nude, right? But yeah, that's pretty insane right there. But what can he do? And we got Kevin Smith right here. I like Kevin Smith. I like Kevin Smith a lot. He's going to be making a movie soon because, he's got a movie theater, and he explains it right here. I guess this was at like Comic-Con weekend right here, where he kind of explained his new movie that he's going to be filming right now, and the fact that he's trying to get approval to make his film because it's an independent film, so he's still waiting on the film. But this is what he had to say right here, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool.
Over. Is there a production that's a go?
We're in the process of this movie called the 4:30 movie. I bought my childhood hometown movie theater, and we renamed it Smodcastle Cinemas, and so that happened last year in October. So once I bought a movie theater, I was like, well, that's a viable set. So I wrote a movie
Smart.
based in a movie theater, and it's not, a lot of people like, so it's like Clerks in a movie theater, like Ushers? No. It's set in 1986, and it's about my favorite childhood pastime, which was paying for one movie and then jumping from one movie to the other, sneaking into other movies and stuff. So it's a mini multiplex. Our biggest screen is 230 seats. Our smallest screen is 99 seats. So I wrote this movie called The 4:30 Movie about how we used to spend our days in the summer of
Hell yeah.
86. And we were very, very close to going. Our pre-production was about to officially start. I think it was July 7th. And then the looming strike, first the Writers Guild strike, but it had already been written. And even though I'm a Writers Guild member, I'm also a DGA member as well as a SAG member. So I was
he's
like,
part of all the
when you get the money, when you're an independent filmmaker, I don't work for the AMPTP or any AMPTP companies. So if you get money, you go. The SAG strike definitely set us back. So right now we're on hold we pushed our start date by 2 weeks because we applied for the waiver. SAG just issued 39 waivers to indie productions, couple A24 productions, anything that's not AMPTP, because we're not.
So there you go. So basically he's waiting for that waiver that the others like A24 got. And I hope he gets it. Sounds like the movie that he's making is going to be something right up my alley. Like I said, I've loved most of his movies, and the fact that he's going to make a movie that takes place in 1986 that has to do with this movie theater. I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's older than me, so like when it came to me going to movie theaters and having like those times during the summers, that was more during, the 90s. It was probably a decade later, but still, very much looking forward to that. So hopefully he gets that. Hopefully he gets that waiver. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about the Flash movie, and apparently, according to Flash Film News, that the scene nicknamed Monkey Sendo right here, which we know this scene right here, if you've watched The Flash, it's not a deleted scene, but the scene right here between Barry and young Barry, where older Barry just gets on young Barry for, of course, the little stuffed monkey that they got from their mom. So right here it says, by the cast and crew, wasn't in the original script of The Flash. This was written by Ezra Miller and Sean Rogers, Gary, during their off day on the studio lot, along with Rebecca Drysdale, cast support. So this scene right here, which I think it's a really good, I thought it was a really good scene. It's an intense scene where he just kind of does that. Of course, Twitter or X is not working, so I can't fast forward and look at different frames. But hey, I thought that was kind of cool that Ezra took part in that scene right there, in this scene where he, has an exchange with himself, and there's a lot of emotion involved with that. And speaking of emotion, finally, guys, there he is. Jamie Foxx. And of course, a lot of people were like, who is this guy? He doesn't look like Jamie Foxx. Why is he so pale? Why is he this? And conspiracy theories. Even though I was like when it came to him on a boat, when it came to, when he was like out and about, I'm like, where is the video of Jamie Foxx talking to us and saying he's okay? Where's that? Why is it that the first thing that we hear about is him on a yacht somewhere and there's nothing right here? Well, he took his time, but finally we have Jamie Foxx talking about, finally putting out a video. And then, of course, like a lot of people were like, why does he look pale? I was like, he was sick. He almost died. So, yeah, it's going to happen, okay? I know. And then a lot of people were like, it's like, yeah, okay, he's using like obviously there's different lenses, even when it comes to phones or whatever the hell you're using. Things are going to make your face look different. But, yeah, here it is right here where he finally said.
I cannot even begin to tell you how far it took me and how it brought me back I went through something that I thought I would never ever go through. And I know a lot of people were waiting, or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want you to see me like that, man. I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke, doing a movie, television show. I didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was gonna make it through. And to be honest,
Okay, we don't need to watch the whole thing, but just glad that there actually is a video out there. Yes, we could put our tinfoil hats on when it comes to things. When it comes to everything, like I said, I'm a fan. I'll always be a fan of what's the conspiracy theory level? What's that? And of course I see people, oh, it looks like a deep fake. Oh, it looks like AI. Oh, what's going on with him? Where's he sitting? Why is he doing, there's so many questions that we could do, but I'm going to try to look at it more optimistic as the fact that Jamie Foxx is okay. That's how I'm going to approach it. But I get it when people are still like, well, wait a minute, they start rubbing their chin. And like I said, they put that tinfoil hat on, but I think we're okay. I think he's okay. But conspiracy theorists, there's always going to be a conspiracy theory for everything, right? Always going to be and there's nothing wrong with that. Let it happen. I'm all about that stuff. Like I said, not too long ago, I said, I remember, when it came to the political spectrum of conspiracy theories, it very much used to be a left thing. Now it's a right thing. It's very strange how it flip-flopped. Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you are considered right-wing, but before you used to be a crazy lefty. I don't know. But, the society we live in is fun. That's all I got to say about that. But good for him. I'm glad that he's okay. Glad he is okay. So when it comes to DCU rumors, we got another one right here. Oh boy, guys. Oh boy. What do you see right here when you see this actor? What do you see? What do you see when you see him? Freckles. Reddish hair. What? But this is just a rumor. This is just a rumor. Don't take it, take it with a huge, huge grain of salt because it's from a scooper. But apparently, that's right. Jimmy Olsen right there. Skylar Gisondo, who was in Licorice Pizza and Booksmart, apparently might be on the short list to play Jimmy Olsen. That is according to Can't We Get Toast, that scooper. But I thought, okay, cool. The thing that I noticed at first was the fact that, hey, looks like they're actually going to go for a ginger this time. They're not going to actually cast, a person of color to replace the redhead, because that tends to be what Hollywood does nowadays. And I even said, I'm like, I think James Gunn's going to try to go authentic authentic ginger when it comes to Jimmy Olsen in Superman Legacy. So we'll see. Like I said, it's probably not going to happen. And he might not get it because he might just be on a short list, but we'll see. But apparently this is what, was rumored out there from Can We Get Toast? Toast. Can we get bacon and eggs instead? Okay. So, and then we got some figures right here. So McFarlane Toys is releasing a Batman 6-pack, which I think is pretty cool. It has various Batmen, pretty much all the Batmen that you can get right here. You got Keaton, you got Bale, you got Clooney, you got Batfleck, you got Pattinson, and then you got even Kilmer right here. So you get a 6-pack, and I'm like, God damn. I might go for it. Even though I already have the Ben Affleck Batman in the tactical suit. I really wish that Batfleck I wish they can get his normal suit. It'd be awesome if he had his BVS suit. That's his best suit right there. I think it's the best Bat suit cinematically. I wish they had that suit, but they're just re-releasing the tactical one, which I already have. But yeah, might have to jump on this to get all this. And I love the fact that they have the bat signal, and then they have the various different bat symbols that we could put right here. So you got the Clooney Kilmer bat signal right here. You got the fat bat for Batfleck, and then of course you got the skinny one, the really skinny one for Pattinson right there. So I thought that was pretty freaking cool right here. Oh, comic books. So of course we're going to be talking about James Gunn, but I wanted to bring this up with the tweets because I thought, whoa, pretty cool. Because according to Jim Lee, and obviously Comic-Con just happened right here, and this is one of the smart things. Obviously not everything's been smart when it comes to Warner Brothers Discovery and even DC Studios, but when it comes to this right here, I think a lot of us thought this was pretty smart what they were doing when they announced the new DCU slate. Was the fact they said, hey, if you want to read the source material that a lot of these stories are going to be based off of, here it is right here. Here's the Authority. Here's All-Star Superman. Here's the books right here. We're going to list them for you. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. We're going to show you which books they're going to reference. Not going to be a direct adaptation, but here's the books right here. And according to what's been happening right here, the sales for these books and comic books tripled. Smart. This is something that Marvel Studios definitely not doing. Because according to the director of Secret Invasion, Kevin Feige was like, don't read the source material. What? That doesn't even make sense. You should always read the source material. There should always be a reference to source material. Not saying that it has to be directly what it is in the book, but it can be a reference. That's what it is. But so good on that. That was smart right there. Now we'll see when it comes to the future and what comes of this whole DC slate, because I have my reservations about it. I'm not fully confident, but I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. But at least when it comes to this aspect of selling comic books, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it when it comes to that. So good. Good to hear. And I like this too, and I guarantee you, if they do some kind of crazy multiverse thing, which was what's going to be happening with Deadpool 3, new report says that Deadpool 3 will reportedly embrace the animated multiverse. So talking about X-Men animation, that would be brilliant. How many times, when we saw something similar with like Everything Everywhere All at Once. We saw something similar when it came to the Multiverse of Madness, that they kind of had like an animation portion when it came to the multiverse. And if Deadpool is just going to go full on parody, spoofing the whole multiverse concept, yes, do something like this. Have Deadpool injected into the old X-Men show, the animated show, or even like, obviously they're going to be doing X-Men 97. You can even do something when it comes to that. So apparently, and I really like that. I think that's actually absolutely brilliant. That'd be absolutely brilliant right there. Please do it. Jimmy, that's right. Jimmy was at Comic-Con this weekend. Zack Snyder, Netflix, they're all, we're getting a little head start when it comes to marketing of Rebel Moon. And apparently Jimmy, art scale 1/10 right here, was at Comic-Con, and there he is right there, shown in a case. Good old Jimmy, the robot that's going to be essentially a more badass C-3PO in Rebel Moon. People were taking pictures. Look at the detail. Look at the detail on the cape and the horns. And look at all that. Look at the detail on that. It's just pretty freaking sweet right there. Exactly. So there was some Zack Snyder Rebel Moon stuff that was happening at Comic-Con, and that's what it is right there. So Jimmy was at Comic-Con. Gotta love that. And then finally, guys, okay, can we have this happen? Please, MGM, I don't know, who owns James Bond now? It's still MGM, right? Does Amazon kind of own him? I don't know. But when Christopher Nolan was asked about potentially directing a James Bond film, he said, the influence of those movies in my filmography is embarrassingly apparent. Tenet, of course. Inception, yes. It would be an amazing privilege to do one. Make it happen. You're rebooting, well, not really rebooting. I guess you could say when it comes to the James Bond franchise, it's just, they continue on. It's just a different actor, but it's just another crazy adventure with James Bond. Let him do it. Wouldn't that be insane? Christopher Nolan? Hey, hire Henry Cavill. I mean, come on. I don't know what James Gunn, or not, God damn it. I'm talking about James Gunn. I don't know what Christopher Nolan would actually want to do when it comes to the story. You know how he is. He likes to jump timelines. Or not jump timelines, but time periods. So that I would not be surprised if Christopher Nolan was going to approach James Bond, is the fact that it's like, okay, I'm going to have it where I show him as a young man and then show him now. It would be like something maybe even similar to how Oppenheimer was. The fact that it's like, okay, we're going to show before as the bomb was being created, and then we're going to show the aftermath. I would not be surprised if he like took on James Bond and it was like, all right, we're going to show him before he was 007, and then it's going to work with the story of after he, of course, is 007. And it would be like trippy, and it would be Christopher Nolan. Action-wise, I don't know if we're going to, Christopher Nolan's never been big on the whole hand-to-hand combat aspect of movies, action-wise. But, I mean, Tenet had some interesting concepts in there. When it came to The Dark Knight, let's face it, some of that choreography was not that great. But we'll see. So, I'm just like, hey, why not? Do it. Do it. Give it to him. Please give it to him, right? Cillian Murphy for Bond? No. I could see him as being a Bond villain, or maybe even being like someone like Q, or I don't know, someone that supports him. But he's definitely not. He's definitely not Bond material. Definitely not Bond material. But we'll see. Batman Begins, James Bond. Yeah, something like that. Show something like that. Who knows? Imagine if they cast David Corenswet instead as James Bond. Why would they do that? He's Superman. Come on, eat your bacon, Droga. Jim Lee Art's amazing. Yeah, just seeing what you guys are talking about. Yeah, reporting off for duty, Henry Cavill would do amazing. Yeah, he would. You don't think he's not James Bond material? Come on, guys. He is not James Bond material. He wasn't Batman material. Remember, he did a test for Batman. He wasn't Batman material. That was floating around too this weekend. He had a good bat voice, but yeah, we're all glad that he wasn't that. James Gunn. All right, so a new article came out because why not? He is, of course, not on Twitter. I think this is more on Threads and various other alternative social media sites, which I respect James Gunn for sticking to the fact that he I'm leaving Twitter, I'm not going to come back, and he really hasn't. He hasn't tweeted. Unlike most of other people who are just look like hypocrites and say like, hey guys, follow me over here, I'm gonna go over here, and then they don't actually go over there. They still come back. It's like, hey, if you're gonna leave Twitter or X, just fucking do it. It would probably be good for you. I'm just saying, do it. But James Gunn has actually done that. So here we go right here. We got Deadline reporting this article. James Gunn denies packing Superman Legacy with DC characters to attract buyers, shoots down rumors of new Justice League live-action film. James Gunn is clarifying some rumors about the DC development slate, starting with Superman Legacy and potential Justice League live-action film under his direction. Gunn's first film since becoming co-head, of course, they talk about that, whichever thing, and of course, all the characters that are in it. And then when somebody actually asked, because there was an article that came out that said, oh yeah, David Zaslav was like, hey, you better pack your Superman movie with other members of the Justice League, or at least expand the universe, so that makes the people happy, the investors happy, and they're confident and everything like that. He shot that down. And then when it came to the rumor that they basically announced a new Justice League movie, he said no. So there you go. No. There's the two screenshots right there. Shit, sorry, I didn't have it there, but that's the article. Sorry, I forgot to share the page. But yeah, there's a screenshot right there when it comes to all this from Threads. All right. I got to turn that off. So it got me thinking when it came to Justice League and it came to James Gunn and what he's doing. I'm like, first off, I think Smart idea. I do think it's a smart idea to have other meta-humans. These are meta-humans that aren't going to be necessarily part of the Justice League. First off, I always thought that if you're going to do something new and fresh with Superman, yeah, have it where he has to have this balanced life of he's over here being the hero that he is, and he's not alone, and there's other heroes involved. And then, of course, he has his Clark Kent life over here. And I thought, okay, smart. But then, you know, when it comes to Zaslav, I mean, obviously he could be fluffing it. He could be totally lying. And maybe Zaslav was like, hey, you got to make this thing, whatever, you know. I'm going to take his word for it. But yeah, I mean, there's always a potential. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. I mean, naturally, if you hate James Gunn, you automatically think, oh yeah, of course, that part's true. He's lying. You think everything he's saying is lying because, you know, we all have our bias. But if, you know, you're a fan of James Gunn and you're like, oh yeah, I take him for his word. It's just the way it is. We all have our bias, no matter what. You have your bias, I have my bias. We all have our bias. It's just the way it is. You know, people just loathe this guy so much, and then there are people that just absolutely love him. You know, like I said, I'm right there in the middle somewhere when it comes to this. But when I was thinking about Justice League, I mean, I can only imagine after the debacle that was the first Justice League movie ever, and obviously the campaign that went against what the studio wanted to release a movie that people praise like crazy to the fact that they want more. I could see James Gunn going, yeah, we're not going to be doing a Justice League movie anytime soon. That might be towards the end of this decade-long slate if it actually gets there. You never know. But it's not gonna happen till, well, like year 8, maybe, when it comes to this slate. If it's starting in 2025, maybe 2026, yeah, we're not going to get a Justice League movie well into the next decade, I would say, which is smart. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you have, you know, if you pepper in some of these characters within the other stories where it's not so blatant and not so much where you have to, yeah, we got to look forward to the next movie. Don't do it like Marvel. Do it a little bit different. I don't know. I'm hoping that is the approach that he's trying to do. I just hope the execution can be there. It's like, no, we don't need this big, huge team-up movie. Eventually, yes, it's going to have to get there. And I know people are, like, clamoring for it. But at the same time, it's like you're just wanting exactly what we've already had when it comes to Marvel Studios. So if we're going to have something a little bit different where it's like, it's not so much that, okay, this crossover is going to lead to that. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. And I'm like, I can't even imagine the notes and the whiteboards maybe that they have all trying to draw something up that's going to make it distinct and make it different from what Marvel Studios is doing. It's definitely something that's probably pretty taxing, but we'll see. Like I said, you just got to wait and see. That's where I'm at. Let's just wait and see. Just wait and see. The Avengers League. There you go. James Gunn, good story. Good storytelling. Justice League takes the time. Okay. He was insane. Okay. So you're talking about Cavill right there. DC Authority. They'll be the anti-whatever. I don't think it will take a decade, but I don't think they will rush it. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it'll take like 6 years, 7 years, but it's definitely not going to be in the first 5. I don't see it being in the first 5 years of this new slate. So Midnighter and Apollo kill people more. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're not a bad. They're kind of bad at what they do when it comes to their crew. Yeah, the Authority. They're not the best people for sure. Which is going to be interesting to see how that works in Superman Legacy as well. Again, it's different. That's what I like. The fact that, okay, it's not just a solo Superman film where it's just him doing his thing, but it's also got existing metahumans and other heroes out there. I like that. I really do like that. I like that. Let's hope not. We saw that happen in this. Yeah. We'll see what happens, though, but... So yeah, there's that article and there's that whole debunking right there. So that's good. Michael Keaton's Batman. Oh boy. So this was revealed finally. And I'm not going to show the clip. The clip, they actually showed they've shown 3 deleted clips from The Flash, or scenes. That's not too shabby. I mean, they had the first one that they showed that was deleted from Flash was young Barry when they were at the, where they were holding Supergirl. He phases through the door and then finds, we actually see that shot that we saw at DC Fandom where everybody was like, look at his, his cowl looks too big because the shot and the angle looked kind of funky. He finds Supergirl's costume. before they find her. And then he also sees the ship that she arrived in, which is a beautiful shot. It's an absolutely beautiful shot. It like kind of just, you see him and then it pans up and you see the big, huge S right there. And I thought, that's an absolutely beautiful shot. And then, of course, when he goes back, he goes like, is Superman petite? Because then they realize, oh, yeah, it's a small costume. When you watch The Flash right now, the costume is just laying down on the ground, essentially, just kind of just crumpled up right there. So that explains that aspect of it. But when it comes to what happened to Michael Keaton's Batman and why he quit being Batman, now, yes, we know that it's like, oh, yeah, Gotham is now crime-free. I don't know if he said crime-free. Basically, the crime is... he's one of the safest cities in America, which is, okay, cool. But I'm like, Gotham City, really? You really cleaned it up? But what happened right here was, well, Andy Muschietti explained it. And then, of course, you do see a scene. But this is the quotes from Andy Muschietti right here. He said, I really wanted to defy people's expectations of where Bruce Wayne would be 30 years later, and I also wanted to deepen the backstory of Bruce Wayne, as the story tells, has been retired for 25 years. What happened to him? I always said something should happen to Bruce Wayne to want to stop being Batman. And then he continues on right here. He said, and my idea was he did something that goes against his code and killed a criminal in front of the criminal's child, not knowingly, but he still did it, which is an exact mirroring situation of what happened to him when his parents were killed in front of him next to the Monarch Theaters, and that created the monster that Batman is. So he just couldn't cope with it, and that's why he decided to shut off his other side, Batman, and he hasn't been able to forgive himself. And now the way we find him is a bit of like the evolution of that journey. You know, he's a tragic figure. He's basically a character that is in search of redemption, but eventually finds a way to do it by helping Barry. So when they're actually going to get Supergirl or Superman, that they think, the two Barrys are talking about that, and they mention that whole fact, and there's that whole scene right there, which is kind of interesting because they didn't finish the scene. So you see, you know, the stand-in actor that played young Barry mainly. You see like him in the costume, and like it's kind of weird, but it's kind of funny because obviously this, of course, ignited that stupid. Oh, I hate the debate. Being a diehard Batman fan myself, I hate the debate because obviously, yes, we all know that Batman has the code. He has the code, doesn't kill, understandable. But let's face it, if you're going to do live action, it's going to happen. And when it came to Michael Keaton's Batman, let's face it, motherfucker killed so many people. So many people dropping bombs and access chemicals, strapping some dynamite to a big, huge, fat guy. He killed. Bale's Batman killed. Kilmer's Batman killed. Batfleck. The only one that really didn't was Clooney. That did not kill. But when I had people in my mentions like kind of push back against it, it's like, did you actually read or actually watch what Andy Muschietti said? It's not the fact that he killed a criminal. It's the fact that he killed the criminal in front of that criminal's child. Read the whole thing, please. It's like, don't stir up the debate if you didn't read the whole thing and took in the whole thing. It's like, yeah, he killed a criminal in front of said person's child. So, of course, that's going to fuck with him. It's absolutely going to fuck with him. I don't think that big fat guy that he strapped dynamite to in Batman Returns had his child over there in the distance. But Batman cinematically does kill. Accept it. But at the same time, don't get offended when something like this is brought to the forefront and you're like, oh yeah, but it was not okay when Batfleck did. It's like, stop doing that whole thing. Don't do the whataboutism kind of thing. Please, don't do that. Don't do that. In the words of Zack Snyder, those guys are fine. Those guys are fine. They're fine. Even that big fat guy with the dynamite, he's fine. He just got a little burn. That's all. Right? Even Adam West's Batman killed. Did he? Pattinson killed. Oh yeah, Pattinson killed. Michael Keaton killed your dog. That's crazy. Wow. What if it was the fat guy? It wasn't the fat guy. I don't think his kid was in front of that. That was on the Penguin. That was on the Penguin, the car chase sequence. Would have loved to seen that worked out on screen. So what about, it would have been great. Batfleck specifically refused to beat down Deadshot in front of his daughter. Yeah, he resisted right there. But he killed some guys too. Yeah, Batman kills all the time, so it's like, get over it. Get over it. The debate is stupid. Who cares about that? Like I said, Clooney's Batman's the only one that did not kill. But we're going to talk about Barbenheimer. Even more. Barbenheimer weekend. Who saw both movies? Huh? Who out there saw both movies? I saw both movies before the weekend, but I know a lot of people out there were seeing both movies. I even saw, like, according to some data that came out, I was reading about, was the fact that one of the reasons why that actually Oppenheimer might have gotten a slight bump in its box office that it received was the fact that when people were going to they were driving to the movie theater to go see Barbie, but the shows were sold out. So then it was like, well, I guess we're going to go see Oppenheimer. Apparently there was some data out there that was saying that, which I would not be surprised. Probably not a lot, probably like 1%, if anything. It's probably like a very, very small percentage of people that were just like, oh, Barbie sold out, let's go watch Oppenheimer. That's got to be, for the moviegoer to be like, hey, we're going to go see Barbie. It's going to be a fun movie. We're going to laugh. It's going to be nostalgic and all this stuff. And then they end up going seeing Oppenheimer. Whoa, that's quite a drastic tone shift right there. Instead of walking out like, oh my God, that's the greatest movie, you walk out like God damn, I mean, Jesus Christ, let's face it, a little heavier. Even though, in my personal opinion, Oppenheimer was way better, let's just say. Anyways, but yeah, so the box office has been adjusted a little bit right here. So we got Oppenheimer that actually made $82.4 million, and it's at $180.4. So adjusted some of the numbers right here that they did, which is usually the case. Like Sunday is usually rough numbers. Whoops, click that again. So naturally that's going to happen. But yeah, Barbie's still sitting pretty. It actually, obviously, they're going to be accounting like Sunday and stuff like that. So it currently sits at 356.3. But what's sad, though, is Mission Impossible right here. Again, Sound of Freedom, still kicking ass. Still gets more and more theaters to open with it. Like, it got some more screens on it. It did have a 27.3% drop, but look at Mission Impossible right there, 64.6. Apparently, this is the biggest drop of the franchise. So sadly, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning now is just taking a deep dive, and I thought this movie was going to at least cross $500 million, but I think this movie now is not going to do that unless it finds new life later on. But I think Barbenheimer just kind of buried this movie a little bit. Sadly, and like I said, it's pretty much it was my favorite movie of the year, possibly, which sucks. And I love the Mission Impossible franchise, but yeah, it's getting buried by Barbenheimer, man. Now Tom Cruise is even more pissed. Remember when they said that he was pissed that he was only going to have Dead Reckoning out in IMAX theaters for 1 week because Oppenheimer was going to be taking the rest? Or at least 3 weeks or something like that. But then he was all gung-ho, him and Christopher McQuarrie. That's right, they had their tickets. Now he's like, damn it. Now they're like, fuck, our movies are getting like derailed by this. So, sucks. Because Dead Reckoning was great, so great. But again, it's like you have these movies that are just going back. And this is such a historic, iconic event that happened that now studios, you better believe that studios, when it comes to Barbie and Oppenheimer, people showed... they showed these studios who, again, obviously with all the things that are happening, they showed these studios that sequels and franchise movies already is always not the way to go. Like, people want something different, fresh. It's like, yeah, you could keep on doing your cinematic universes and your sequels, absolutely 100% sure, but at the same time, you still have to do something fresh and different. You have to do something different. And we had two movies that are polar opposites of each other, to the point where I was so surprised, a lot of us were so surprised that they were actually still releasing the same weekend. Somebody thought somebody was going to fold and somebody was going to move it. Oppenheimer, that's a movie that actually should be out during the fall or winter for awards season. You would think that. But hey, in Christopher Nolan, we freaking trust, man. Motherfucker decided like, or not him and Universal, they decided like, hey, we're going to make this movie. I'm going to make it this way and we're going to put it out there in summer blockbuster season. And it worked. It worked. It absolutely worked. Just absolutely insane that that's happening. So now, studios, you better believe, they're like, what's the next pair up that we could put together? I mean, they're already talking about it when it comes to the new Paw Patrol movie in Saw 10. They're calling it Saw Patrol. That might be the next one. I don't know if that's going to be as iconic, but you better believe that studios are kind of going like, yeah, what movies could we like put in the same weekend that could be polar opposites of each other, and we could just have like a name for it, and people are going to flock to it, because look what happened here. Studios always do that. Anytime something works, they start going, hey, and then they make it not work. It's not going to work. Whatever the next thing is going to be probably won't work, but yeah, pretty crazy. And even that, it's happened before with Christopher Nolan. When it came to The Dark Knight, Mamma Mia came out that weekend, so they call it Dark Mama. The Dark Mama. That was that little cutesy name that happened. But good on that. This weekend is the fourth highest box office. Yeah. Fourth highest box office weekend. You're right. So, I mean, it just blew up. I mean, Greta is getting praised. I mean, obviously, when it comes to a female director, this is like the biggest weekend for that. So there's that aspect of it. There's all kinds of things, man. All kinds of things when it comes to this weekend right here. I just wish that Mission Impossible would get a little bit more love and meet that $500 million, because I loved that movie. So it just sucks. Wonder how many families took their 6-year-olds to Oppenheimer. I highly doubt that they took their 6-year-olds to Oppenheimer. I mean, I saw some young people in there, but no 6-year-olds. Jacob, wonder how many, just say, I wore pink to go see Barbie, and so did my other friends. Yeah, exactly. As you should. Then people who saw Barbie saw it was about Barbie being a fascist holding the Kens down. Dune Part 3 on the same weekend with Star Wars. That would be interesting. They call it Dune Wars or something like that. Who knows? But pretty crazy. Oh boy. Oh boy, guys. Is this happening? Mr. Thomas Hayden Church? What are you doing to us? What are you doing? You know, when you read this, you got a little tingle in your jingle. I did, because ever since No Way Home, we're going, okay, where's Spider-Man 4? Sam Raimi is part of Marvel Studios. Have him do Spider-Man 4. Tobey Maguire. Hey, maybe even introduce Miles Morales if you want to do that. Have Tobey Maguire Superman be Superman. Spider-Man be his mentor. Even though some people are like, what about Andrew Garfield? Yeah, that could be cool too. We're still waiting on hearing anything more with that, but you never know what could happen with that. But according to Mr. Thomas Hayden Church in comicbook.com, he said it right there in this video. It said Thomas Hayden Church has heard rumors that Sam Raimi may do another Spider-Man. May. What? Let's listen.
And one day, out of the 3 Spider-Man, which one would you be most interested in going toe-to-toe with?
Well, back with Tobey. With Tobey.
Yeah.
Because that's who I started out with. And then, in No Way Home, I had the stuff that I had, really with the different guys, mostly more with Tom Holland than with the other guys. But there's always been something that's kind of, I've heard rumors, that Sam Raimi was going to do another one, and with Tobey. And if that happened, I would probably campaign to maybe at least do a cameo.
Oh, look at that. He's heard rumors. Do it. Just do it. If Raimi and Maguire are down, just do it, man. Wrap it up. Wrap up that story. I mean, even though it's like the 4th one, Andrew still, I wish he gets his 3rd one. That would be cool too, but I don't know if they want to like fully invest in like their Spider-Men. I think they should. I mean, look at what No Way Home did, and in the state of things when it comes to Marvel Studios, everything's kind of what's going on. If you invest into your Spideyverse, like especially since there is that Spideyverse over here, why not just give sequels to those Spider-Men? And then of course we still want Tom Holland's continued story as well. Invest into your Spider-Verse. I mean, the multiverse thing was like kind of been hit and miss. All the stuff that's been happening has kind of been hit and miss. So why not just, if they are down to do it, conclude Tobey's story. You can even make it like almost like, I mean, I'm not saying it should be old man Peter, but it could be something, and it could be a way to introduce Miles Morales. You could even do it to a point where the three of them end up coming together again in another event. I'm just saying, like, with the way things are, I would not be surprised if they're considering going, maybe we should put more money towards this Spider-Verse as opposed to just keep expanding all this over here in the multiverse and everything. Even though I'm hoping that when it comes to Secret Wars, that we'll get like some kind of exchange between Tobey Maguire and like a Hugh Jackman or something like that. I know some people have put that out there, and I'm like, yeah, that would be pretty sweet too. But I don't know, we'll see. Thomas Hayden Church talking about that. He said he heard rumors too, but it could be all BS. But I think it would be a smart idea if they invested a little bit more into like a Spider-Verse. But that's just me. Yeah. Let's see. Old man Peter. Yeah. Might be on this. Yeah, no, I was just saying. Like, I've seen people talk about that. I even had that idea, too. It's like, you get Peter Parker, who's, like, older. I mean, we kind of seen something similar when it comes to the first Into the Spider-Verse with Peter B. Parker. He got older. He got a little, heavier and stuff like that. But they could do something like that with Tobey. And then I actually, when it came to who would you want to mentor Miles Morales, that's a debate, and maybe I'll put out a poll out there or something like that. It's like Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. Who would you want to mentor Miles? I think Tobey would be the better choice, because Andrew's Spider-Man was still trying to find his way, and like he talked about how he like the anger that he had, and he didn't really have the experience fighting aliens yet. So I think Tobey would be, he didn't have, he didn't fight aliens. He didn't fight he fought his share of villains. But I think, I don't know, do the more experienced Spider-Man, I think, to mentor him. That's my thoughts on it. So, all right, let's get to the questions. All right, let's see. I actually did post it on YouTube, so let's see if anybody on YouTube decided to ask a question. Looks like some people, we got one right here. What's it gonna be? At that nerdy guy 8701, he said no to Superman. Look how that turned out. Okay. So they're saying eventually he's gonna do James Gunn's gonna end up doing Justice League, which he probably will. I would not be surprised at that. This is so trippy, because when I opened up a new tab for like a Twitter photo, it still has the birdie, still has the blue birdie, but all my other tabs have the fucking X logo. It's stupid. I'm not one of those that hates Elon and thinks, and tweets at him, you're a fucking idiot, and they say all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that'll show him. I always love it when people are like, I'm gonna tweet at him and he's gonna see it. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, and they do that whole thing. It's like, why are you tweeting at? They're probably looking at it and laughing. You're not doing anything, okay? I know you think you're doing something, but stop doing that. But I'm not, but I don't hate him, but I don't agree with a lot of, some of the things he said. This whole X thing is dumb, but as long as it still works the way that it has been working, I'll be okay with it. But yeah, it's just weird seeing that logo, that X logo. I'm like, dun, dun, dun. He really is Lex Luthor, isn't he? Oh boy. All right, start off with Darren right here. Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later. Check out the animated film Superman vs. the Elite. It's on Max. I could see that being how he will interact with the Authority when he first meets them. Okay, I'll check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. Superman versus the Elite. I like it. Eric Blake. I admire Gunn putting his foot down here in the era of studios impatiently wanting that Avengers money. See Universal's would-be Monsters verse. Yeah, right? Jeez, that was a shit show right there. I look back, though, on WB wanting to rush the DCEU to Justice League film, So what if Zach had Gunn's no authority there? But I think Zach always was thinking that if he wasn't going to do a direct sequel to Man of Steel, it was always going to be, and I know he got input like, hey, we need to expand the universe. So then he took it upon himself to be like, well, we can expand it this way. And he expanded it in a way that was unique to what Marvel Studios was doing. Yeah, it's all crazy. Mr. Watson, after you finish with Superman the Animated Series on DC Fanimated, would you do Static Shock, Teen Titans? I think we're going to be doing it all. We're going to be doing it all, Watson. We're going to be, that's pretty much what Scott and I agreed on after we got done with the first 2 seasons of Batman the Animated Series, because that's essentially what it was going to just be, was us talking about Batman the Animated Series. But then we're like, let's talk about it all. Let's talk about all the animated shows. So, yeah, we'll cover as much as we want to cover. So that's why we rebranded it to DC Fanimated. Twitter, yeah, pretty much. That's a good meme right there. I like that. Lawrence, what DCU project do you think is going to build up a Justice League movie? Well, I think no matter what, I mean, just right off the bat, every one of them has potential to build up a Justice League movie. I just hope they don't take the Marvel Studios approach with it. Mr. Nobody, hey Dave, if Amazon buys Marvel and DC, won't that increase the chances of a Marvel DC crossover? Well, yeah, but they're not going to do that. They might buy certain things if things get really bad, but they're not going to buy both. That'd be very expensive. That'd be more expensive. Well, maybe it won't be as expensive as much as Elon paid for Twitter. But you never know. I honestly want to see Superman versus Hyperion versus Omni-Man versus Homelander, which obviously ends as a pure bloodbath. Wouldn't that be insane? I know most likely it won't happen. It won't happen, but that would be something. Unless somebody creates an AI version of it, of course. Jacob Rangel. The last time James said no to something, he ended up being blah, blah, blah. So everybody's doing that right there. So basically, they're going like, yeah, James Gunn said no to Superman. It's like, yeah, he did. I know. And I get that. I totally get that. I think everything's going to be a building block to essentially to a Justice League film. But I'm hoping, just me going like, all right, so far I'm thinking, okay, Gunn's going to be smart because he was there. He was there in the Marvel machine. He saw the wizard of the Marvel machine work and even worked with him. So it's like, all right, I don't want to do that. I have an idea of doing something a bit differently. And it's DC. And I think James Gunn was probably more of a DC kid growing up, just like, a lot of us were. And I'm just kind of hoping that he's like going to be taking that approach of like, all right, I saw how the fudge was made over here. We're going to make some Willy Wonka type shit over here. That's what I'm hoping. Now that's, am I fully confident? No, not at all. I'm not fully confident. But the fact that he's starting off the Superman story with already existing metahumans and ones that are not even common. That's what I like. I like the obscure shit. I mean, he did that with the Suicide Squad with having obscure characters. But I thought that was kind of smart. And people who are very much love the Suicide Squad comic book, Scott McClellan being one of them, he really loved that movie. Like, he really dug that movie. He liked it better than, of course, the first one. So, and I think people who are like big, diehard Suicide Squad fans actually really dug what James Gunn did when it came to that. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm never going to say like, in Gunn we trust. He doesn't have my trust yet. After Superman Legacy, we'll see. Then I might go in Gunn we trust. Right now, I'm just going, all right, let's see what happens. Just like I'm doing with Twitter X Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm just like, let's see what happens. Okay? Do I fully trust these guys? No! You can actually be like that. You could be in the middle. You don't have to be like fully against or fully for. You could be right in the middle, guys. You really can. It's a nice place to be in, to be honest. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, thanks, guys, for joining in on the fun. You guys are awesome, as per usual. Make sure you smash that like, thumbs up. If you haven't already, become a member. And thank you to the members and the patrons who showed up at the stream yesterday. Like I said, I gave the invitation out to not just the Patreon people, the Patreon family, but I gave it out to, of course, the members. And I think I might be doing that in the future too. So, you know, just to show some love to everybody who helps support the channel. And, you know, you guys are doing that, and I really appreciate that. And if you want to support the channel, it's all around me. We got the social media and, of course, the Patreon. Everything's there. And if you want to become a member, do so. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully you have a good couple of days, and we'll see what happens between now and Wednesday when it comes to things. You know, news is going to get a little... It's going to get a little interesting if these strikes keep on going. It's like, what are we going to talk about? But so far, we're still talking about a lot of things. All right, guys. Love ya. Talk to you later.